So
Mwamishana abasinga bwe manyinga wa Mutwe awereddwa akirizibwa okweyimirirwa newankubadde ekisooka conditions muziwulidde bamusabye miliyoni 5 oyo omuntu baabasuubira nti bagenda zijjawa era singa ekibiina baabakoze eki abazitaddeyo nga bulijjo bwe tukola kuyambako ku bantu baffe naye kakati imagine ng'omuntu wa bulijjo abeera eyo abeera agenda kujjawa ssente bwezityo omusa miliyoni 5.
Took place on the 22nd of May 2025. Today, the 23rd of July 2025, will be 61 days in custody. The trial has not yet commenced. The scene has not yet disclosed to the defense. In my view, he is entitled to monthly bail under the provisions of Article 26, Sub-Article 6B of the Social Republic of Uganda as amended. Because he is entitled to monthly bail, this court will accept the sureties as presented. In the final results, I bring hereby resumed release the accused person on bail on the same conditions as his co-accused persons. We restitute a cash board of 5 million. Each of the sureties restitute a non-cash board of 50 million. Accused person not leave the country without leave of this court. The matter shall come up on the 25th of August 2025 at 9 o'clock.
Songa mumanyi olutalo ne bwe bagamba nti omusango bagudismiss bagobye mumanyi olutalo abantu baffe bayitamu okufuna ssente ezo okuzibatiza so ekivumirira nnyo ekirala nti ensonga enekuta obudde bungi nnyo ekyali badde bwe kityo naye ogenda kwesanga nga abantu baffe bangi babeereyo ne bakandalira mu makomera ate bawe wabeiru kitulowooza kimenya amateeka kitoobola eddembe ly'obuntu n'ebirala bwe bityo. Uganda waffe oyo nga bwe mmanyi talina musango kumusibya byonna obiwulira mukimanyi omupolisi twine yamwesaitinga mukanimagi bwe yamwesaitinga mbwakwate feva ati kube mwami Museveni kati misango egya kikaki gyosibira omuntu ebbanga eryo lyonna lyonna so ekyo tukivumirira naye n'ekirala kankozese guno omukisa okwogera ku bantu baffe abalala abali mu makomera kubanga kati n'owa Mutwe at least afunye bbeeyi naye mukimanye tulina abantu baffe abali ekitalya bamachete bakatowumalu tulina abantu baffe abali Masaka ba Edi Mutwe n'abalala abali okusango osanga bitategerekeka naye ebbanga lyonna lye bamaze kukomera muliraba era gyebuvuddeko nga bakansi bajja bagamba batuwadde date eyabo ab'e Masaka ne bagamba bagenda kukomawo nga 14 ez'omwezi ogw'omunaana naye laba ebbanga eryo lyonna lye bamaze mu kukomera kati nga Edi Mutwe ne bamutulugunya ne bamutuusa ku mbeera eyo naye abalamuzi ekitongole kiramuzi ne kitamulelizinga beiru oba oli agenda kufuna obujanjabi.
Wagirani mukwano wagirani mpagira Kyagulanyi omwana w'embogo mpagira Robert Kyagulanyi erinnya ly'eddala era ensentamu oyo bwayimuka banga yimuka lumu nakulembera bange nakulembera gambo wagirani mukwano wagirani mpagira kyago omwana w'embogo owagirani mukwano wagirani mpagira kyago omwana w'embogo mpagira Robert Kyagulanyi erinnya ly'eddala era esentamu oyo bwayimuka banga yimuka lumu nakulembera bange nakulembera gambo wagirani mukwano wagirani mpagira kyago omwana w'embogo.
So you're going to have a message with your performance tonight. What is the message you would like this audience to receive?
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you for this opportunity to highlight a message from Uganda. Guys, I come from Uganda. Yeah, Uganda is a beautiful East African country of 45 million people with the youngest population in the world. Unfortunately, Uganda is under the rule of General Yoweri Museveni, a military dictator who's been ruling our country for 37 years. And today, he is in advanced stages of installing his son, also a military general, as he's here. And guess what? I am the guy trying to stop that together with my friends.
How can those of us in this room support the fight for freedom and democracy in Uganda?
Thank you. First of all, give us your attention. When we have the attention of the world, then the world knows what's happening in Uganda. Many times the people in Uganda feel like they're suffering in the dark. Give us your attention, but that's not all. We know that you can help us by calling upon your government through your elected leaders to stop funding the dictatorship in Uganda and also to stop being seen, not to condemn it. You have laws, for example, the Global Magnitsky, that can be evoked against the dictatorship, and also targeted sanctions. Those are the things that are effective to the dictatorship. Otherwise, we cannot keep fighting against the euros, fighting against all the donor money that comes from the EU and the developed world.
Bobi, you started as an artist and then have made the transition to being a politician. Why did you decide to take that step?
I did not decide to take that step. That step decided to take me. I'm an artist. I prefer being an artist. But because there came a time when the intellectuals were either so scared or compromised. And there was this attention that comes with music, the attention that we get from the young population that we had. So I decided to rise to the occasion and represent what I believe in. That is freedom, that is democracy, that is human rights, that's equality. See how our leaders become misleaders, and see how our mentors become tormentors. Freedom fighters became dictators. They're killing our people in Karamoja. We are fighting for freedom. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Bobi Wine. He is a Ugandan pop star, activist, and political leader. He heads the National Unity Platform, which is the country's largest opposition party, and he was elected to parliament in 2017. As a singer, Bobi Wine's music has focused on social justice issues. He's been blocked from performing, however. Since 2018, his music considered a threat to the political establishment. He received massive support across the country and then started the People Power movement in 2017 to encourage young Ugandans to get involved in politics. Since then, he's been arrested, tortured, subjected to various other forms of abuse and harassment. His supporters and friends have been targeted by the government, with some killed and others abducted and tortured. Bobi Wine was a presidential candidate in Uganda's most recent election, which has been described as the most violent and least fair in the country's history. He was placed under house arrest, denied access to food or water. Now, I see that on social media there's tremendous excitement that you're here at the United Nations and that your followers refer to you as Mr. President. You have the floor.
I'm a musician, and in 2005, I was the hottest artist in town, singing about parties and girls and money. And so, like any other 23-year-old who is successful, I went out and bought a big fancy car, a Cadillac Escalade with spinning wheels and a personalized number plate, ghetto. One day, I was at a nightclub in Kampala when a security operative pulled me out of my brand new car, slapped me in the face, and put a gun on my head. And he asked me, "Yo, why are you showing off? Don't you know that this country has owners?" I drove away humiliated, and this horrible feeling was all over me, a feeling of you deserved it. Because he was right, I thought I was safe as a celebrity, partying with the rich and powerful military generals, whining and dining with them. But I did not know that it didn't change the reality that I was just a boy from the ghetto, and that I would not be free from their oppressive rule until everyone in Uganda was free. General Museveni has been tolerated for far too long, and the detriment of democracy and human rights is the tolerance of the world's democracies for dictators. Just like Putin had to start a war to win attention and ratings in his country, just last month, Uganda faced a verdict from the International Court of Justice, having raided the Democratic Republic of Congo and plundering and murdering and raping women there. Now the taxpayer of Uganda has to pay more than $200 million to settle that which was caused by General Museveni. Uganda depends largely on international aid. And it's sad that the international community continues to have cooperation and to shake General Museveni's blood-stained hand. We have constantly called for sanctions. We've called for the same standard of human rights in Uganda. We have requested the international community to hold Uganda accountable and to put conditions of human rights, of the respect for human rights and democracy and the rule of law as preconditions for cooperation. And again, we've called for sanctions for General Museveni. And we've said that when Idi Amin did what Museveni is doing in Uganda, he was sanctioned. When Charles Taylor did to the people of Liberia what Museveni is doing right now in Uganda, he was sanctioned. When Robert Mugabe did to the people of Zimbabwe what Museveni is doing to the people of Uganda, he was sanctioned. When Saddam Hussein and many other dictators did what General Museveni is doing in Uganda, they were sanctioned. Why then is General Museveni not being sanctioned? So we are here to challenge the international community to hold General Museveni on the same standard of human rights, of democracy, and the rule of law in Uganda. Dear international community, if you cannot help us, please stop sponsoring our oppression. Please stop being the paymasters of our oppressor. If that stops, then that will be the beginning of the liberation of the people of Uganda. I thank you. The transition, the practical transition, I think it took time because between the time when my mind switched to when I ran for politics, now that was a span of 10 years.
Sure.
Because I was about 25 years when I got that attack. And when I changed in that 25 years, so much went on, including my own transformation from a bad man from the ghetto to a ghetto president.
Yeah.
But I was still a ghetto guy. Of course, I would have political opinions and sometimes I would share them in a conscious and careful way. We would have political discussions as a crew, me and my friends.
Yeah.
And we would get angry, but we always kept the cup tight. In 2015, that campaign, artists were brought together because following the influence that we had got, there are other artists as well. So the president of our country then, General Museveni, sent out his people to source artists to sing a praise song for him.
Right, sure.
And they were paid a lot of money. And they reached out to me and I rejected the offer. It was a huge offer. Money that I had never touched. Money that I have never touched.
Wow.
Yeah. But I thought now this was a very big moral challenge. For me, it has been the biggest moral challenge because I was being paid to lie to praise what I know is wrong. And I refused. Of course, it cost me a great deal. But that refusal still opened opened my eyes more to our influence as artists. The election went on. It was a terrible election, and I was very politically conscious then.
Yeah.
I saw the opposition leader detained in his home. For the first time, the internet was cut off and all that. And we had a very, very nasty election that pissed me off. And in 2016, that's when I took the decision and said, you know what? I think it is enough singing about these issues. I think it's high time we started acting about these issues. But I was saying this, but I'm just an artist, not even with the necessary education and knowledge to take me into that fight. So in 2016, I went back to school and I wanted to study the law. That is where I met various friends, including the current Secretary General of our party, the party that I lead. He was our professor at law school. And through the conversations that we had with students and with the professors, we realized that it was foolhardy to study constitutionalism. To study constitutional law in a country that had no constitutionalism. Fast forward, myself, our professor and a few students left school, and we went and formed a political movement called the People Power Movement. But before then, I'll take you back a little. How did I even take the decision to run for a position as Member of Parliament? I was still at law school. We were having these annoying conversations. I would go to school through the week, and weekends, I would go do my music. Now, this one, everybody in life has this friend that talks you into trouble, makes you feel like you're Superman. Say, yo, bro, go, you can do that.
Yeah.
So I have this crazy friend called Nubian Lee. We were driving from the eastern part of the country, and we were discussing, of course, the political dynamics in the country. Whenever there's a headline, there's a newspaper called The Monitor. It puts a placard on the streets. I think you do the same in South Africa.
Yeah.
Now, what was the headline this time? Chadondo East MP loses seat. So me and Nubian looked at ourselves, looked at it again, looked at ourselves.
Yeah.
We didn't have to say a thing.
Wow. So that was the moment.
That was the moment. He said, we are going to Parliament.
And you ran, you
I
won.
ran. Of course, the government, the ruling party had a candidate, and the main opposition party had a candidate. I ran as an independent candidate.
Incredible.
I got 80% of the vote.
Wow.
Now that was insane. It was like a mass awakening of people. The things I'd been singing about, the things that we had been talking about.
Yeah.
The common people, over 80% of our people live in poverty. And these people had been listening to my music. For a moment, I felt like Bob Marley and Muhammad Ali, Bob Marley and Malcolm X had possessed me.
Wow.
And I spoke all that I could speak to the people. Gladly, the people were listening, especially the young people. Fast forward, we had that election. I went to Parliament. But whatever we were doing was a mass awakening, because so much happened in that short time. I was elected to Parliament. But again, what I found in Parliament was a proposal to scrap the age limit, the constitutional age limit of the president, to allow General Museveni to run again.
Yeah.
Remember, about 10 years earlier, he had again changed the constitution and scrapped the term limits. Now he was intending to rule forever, so the only impediment was the age limit.
Ready to take your podcast to the next level? At Ayeye Studios, you can film, edit, and release your podcast all in one place. From crisp visuals to clean sound, we've got you covered, and we can even distribute your podcast on YouTube and other platforms. The best part? It's brought to you by the same team that brings you SMWX quality. Are you ready to take your podcast to the next level? Welcome to Ayeye Studios.
So
That is where I get.
General Museveni,
Yeah.
still leader of Uganda, had by that time in around 2016-17 been in power already for about 30 years.
Oh
if I'm
yeah.
not mistaken.
Oh yeah.
And as you come to Parliament on this wave of an incredible independent campaign that shocks everyone, there's this debate that the age limit, which would have barred him from continuing, should be removed. Effectively, this was an attempt to continue staying on in power.
Absolutely.
And you were violently once, this was going to be a long theme, really suppressed in trying to raise concern about this attempt to stay in power. Can you talk us through that moment when you were challenging the age limit in Parliament? Because it was really a new movement in many ways, on the back already of another movement that you'd begun.
I entered Parliament amid these ululations and excitement and so much anticipation. I did not have so much resistance or hate because I seemed just as another exciting young man who would be easily bought out. Honestly, I did not know what I was dealing with.
Wow.
Because I'm sure if I knew, maybe I wouldn't do it the way I did it. Because here I am, I get into Parliament, General Museveni is pushing a bill, and this bill is his life, is the lifeline of the dynasty, is the lifeline of all those that depend on him. So I come into Parliament that has very long-serving politicians, both on the government side and on the opposition side. And it's as if fait accompli for General Museveni.
Yeah.
But with my entry, the population's focus gets into Parliament. And that is what I'd wanted to do. Because I said, if the Parliament cannot come to the ghetto will come to the Parliament. Now, I wanted to come with the entire generation to Parliament, to focus on Parliament. And Parliament started trending since then. We started putting members of Parliament on a hot seat because we encouraged the people, especially the youth, to reach out to their members of Parliament and put them on pressure not to touch the Constitution. Because if the members of Parliament don't change the Constitution, then Uganda would have a chance to a democracy. But again, by doing that, we were starting a fight with not just the government of Uganda, but with Uganda Police, with Uganda People's Defense Force, with Bank of Uganda, and with every institution of state in Uganda. Because in Uganda, General Museveni is the state and the state is him. Now here, we were daring to challenge the status quo. All the state machinery was unleashed, not just on me, but on other people that dared to resist. And yet they had to resist because the eyes of the people were on them.
Yeah.
Now it got even more aggressive, but the more brutal the government became, is the more people got focused, and is the more attention that was drawn in. So largely, that was my entry into challenging General Museveni. Fast forward, of course, having planes surrounding the Parliament and the Parliament besieged, having the special forces jump into Parliament and beating everybody. You must have seen that fight that we put up in Parliament. Eventually, they passed that bill that allows General Museveni to rule forever.